The most innovative creators don't use AI as a replacement. They use it as a strategic partner in a carefully choreographed dance of human creativity and machine intelligence. Hello, I'm Phil McKinney, and welcome to my innovation studio. And welcome to part 4 of our series, Creative Thinking in the AI Age. If you haven't listened to the previous episodes, you can find links in the show notes or down in the description below. Now, this series is on strengthening your uniquely human creativity while using AI as a partner, not as a replacement. In part 1, we explored the alarming decline in creative thinking as we've grown dependent on AI. In part 2, we discovered how neuroplasticity allows you to rebuild and enhance our creative capabilities. And in part 3, I give you a practical 10-minute daily workout to strengthen the neural pathways essential for innovative thinking. Now, today, we are going to bring this all together with something immediately actionable, a framework for creating productive partnerships with AI that enhance rather than diminish your creative capabilities. This isn't about rejecting AI. It's about using it strategically to amplify your uniquely human abilities. When used properly, AI can handle routine cognitive tasks while freeing your mind for the breakthrough thinking that algorithms simply cannot do. Now, let me start by clarifying the fundamental difference between human and machine intelligence that drives this partnership. Convergent thinking is the process of analyzing lots of data to find the optimal solutions within defined parameters. That is what AI excels at, processing vast amounts of information to identify patterns and generate options based on the probability distributions of what has worked before. Now, divergent thinking is that ability to generate novel ideas, making unexpected connections, breaking conventional patterns, and imagining what doesn't yet exist. This is where humans uniquely excel. Our capacity for intuitive leaps, metaphorical thinking, and insights that transcend existing data. The most powerful creative partnerships leverage both AI's computational strength and the human capacity for originality. Now, let me demonstrate this with a simple example. If I asked an AI to design a chair, it would analyze thousands of existing chair designs and generate variations based on established patterns. The results would be functional, but very predictable. But what if I first engaged in divergent thinking by questioning the very concept of sitting? What if I reimagined a chair as something that supports the body in motion rather than at rest? This human insight, this conceptual leap, changes everything about how we might approach the design. Now, when I engage AI, I'm not asking it to design a chair, but to help explore completely new approaches to supporting the human body. The AI becomes a tool for expanding and refining my original insight rather than a replacement for it. This is the heart of creative partnerships. Human divergent thinking provides that spark of originality, while AI convergent thinking helps develop and refine that spark into something that is practical. Now, before we dive into our 5-step framework, let's talk about what makes an effective AI prompt for creative work. The way you communicate with AI dramatically impacts the quality and the originality of what you receive in return. Throughout this episode, I've included actual prompts formatted in code blocks that you can copy, edit, and paste directly into your favorite AI tools, whether that's ChatGPT, Claude, or others. Now, I'm going to include a link in the show notes over at killerinnovations.com, or you can get it in the description in the YouTube video. That link will take you to where you can download a PDF that will be the transcript of this entire episode, including the AI prompts. Then you can just simply copy and paste them into your favorite AI tool. Now, these prompts, these aren't theoretical. These are battle-tested approaches I've used with innovation teams around the world. The most powerful creative prompts share three key characteristics. First, they express curiosity rather than certainty. Phrases like, I'm exploring, or I'm curious about, or help me understand, signal to the AI that you're in an exploratory mode rather than seeking definitive answers. This subtle shift encourages broader, more nuanced responses. And it's interesting to see how just using these few words changes radically what you get back from the AI. Two, they use specific framing devices. Notice how our example prompts use our structures like what aspects are overlooked or what contradictions exist. These frames direct the AI's analytic power towards a particular angle of exploration. The formula prompts I'm shared provided ready to use framing devices for different situations, but you should experiment also. Three, they maintain creative tension. Effective prompts don't ask for immediate solutions, but instead create a productive tension by examining contradictions, assumptions, or overlooked aspects. This tension generates that creative friction from which original insights emerge. When using the example prompts throughout this episode, customize them to your specific challenge. Just don't assume that these are the magic ones. Be willing to experiment, try things out, but maintain these structural elements that encourage exploration rather than premature convergence. The goal is to shape AI responses that serve as a thought-provoking material for your own creative thinking, not as the final answer. So here's a quick formula for effective prompts. Example, what aspects of a problem are most overlooked? What contradictions exist on how people approach a given challenge? What assumptions might be limiting how we think about an issue? What perspectives on a problem have we just never considered? What patterns in an issue are repeating historically? What barriers prevent solving a challenge with existing solutions? Those are just some examples of the structures. Now, let's explore our 5-step framework for forming creative partnerships with AI that enhance rather than diminish your creative capabilities. Step 1, prime your brain first. The most common mistake I see is turning to AI too early in the creative process. This typically happens because we're facing the blank pages uncomfortable. We're seeking the path to least resistance. But this short circuits your brain's ability to make those original connections. Instead, I recommend priming your brain before engaging any AI tools. Here's how. Step 1, begin with a 5-minute session from the Creative Workout. That's episode 3 of this series. The perspective shifting or random word fusion exercises are particularly effective for this purpose. Step 2, after your brief workout, spend 10 minutes in open ideation on your challenge, problem, opportunity, whatever you're focused on. Use a piece of paper, not just cranking out a note. Now, I will say I do use Remarkable, so that is a digital device. I won't say don't use any digital devices, but I find the hand motion of writing actually helps generate more ideas and gets the brain engaged, and it also avoids distraction. So use a piece of paper and rapidly jot down any ideas that come to mind without judging them. 3, look for unexpected combinations or patterns in your ideas. Circle anything that feels surprising or that challenges conventional thinking. This priming step activates your associative thinking networks, those neural pathways that connect seemingly unrelated concepts. When you later engage AI, you'll do so with your creative faculties already warmed up and ready to evaluate AI outputs critically. Step 2, frame challenges, not solutions. You've heard me talk about this many times. Define the problem first. Spend the time really understanding the problem. So frame the challenges. Don't not lock into the solution or get to a solution too fast. So how you engage with AI fundamentally shapes what you get from it. The key is to position AI as a thought partner exploring a problem space rather than a solution generator. Instead of asking your AI to generate ideas for a new water bottle design, try instead, what are the unsolved problems and how people stay hydrated throughout the day? Did you get that? Reframing the challenge. What are the unsolved problems in how people stay hydrated throughout the day? That first prompt tells AI to generate variations on a water bottle, convergent thinking within established parameters. That second prompt opens a problem space that invites exploration of the underlying challenges. Similarly, rather than asking AI to write a marketing campaign, ask it to, identify emotional tensions between consumers and existing products in this category. You get a whole different set of answers. This framing preserves your role in the most crucial part of creativity, defining the right problem. It positions AI as an explorer rather than a solver, helps you see facets of the challenge you might otherwise miss. So let's do a couple of examples of this problem framing prompt. So example 1, this would be the actual prompt you could put into your AI. So I'm exploring ways to improve remote team collaboration. Instead of suggesting specific solutions, help me understand what are the most overlooked aspects of remote communication that create friction or miscommunication? What contradictions exist in how people want to collaborate versus how current tools function? What assumptions about presence might be limiting how we approach remote work? That's example 1 of an actual AI prompt that I've used. Change out the problem definition, but that gives you a good feel. Let's do another example here. And this again is about framing the problem. I'm working on innovation in urban transportation. Rather than proposing specific vehicle or infrastructure designs, help me explore what tensions exist between different stakeholders in urban mobility, like pedestrians, cyclists, drivers, businesses, etc. What contradictory needs do people have when moving through cities? What invisible barriers prevent more sustainable transportation choices? So that's step 2, using your AI to help you gain perspective and view, defining the problem. Step 3, use AI for divergence acceleration. Now, while AI truly does excel at convergent thinking, we can strategically use it to accelerate certain aspects of divergent thinking as well. The key is to use AI to generate raw material that you then transform through your human creativity. So here's the technique. Step 1, after your initial ideation, identify 2 to 3 promising directions that feel original. 2, for each direction, use AI to generate adjacent possibilities, such as what related ideas exist in some completely different field, completely different industry. 3, use these outputs not as solutions, but as stimulation for your own associative thinking, making those random connections. The goal is to use AI outputs as creative springboards. So, for example, if you're designing a new learning app, you might ask your AI, how do master chefs structure the process of teaching complex skills? Or another example, what principles do video game designers use to maintain engagement during difficult challenges. The AI responses become raw material for your own divergent thinking. You aren't adopting the AI suggestions directly, you're using them to trigger your own neural connections in your own thinking. This approach leverages AI's knowledge breadth while preserving your uniquely human ability to make unexpected connections across a variety of domains. So, let's go through a couple of examples on this divergence acceleration. So, example number one, I'm developing a new approach to personal financial education that focuses on behavioral change rather than just information delivery. To spark fresh thinking, explain how these completely different domains approach behavior change. 1. How do elite athletic coaches create lasting habit changes in their athletes? 2. How do environmental conservation programs successfully change community behavior? 3. How do immersive theater experiences create memorable emotional impacts? For each area, identify 3 to 5 key principles and specific techniques that can be translated to financial education. Now, that seems like a pretty long example prompt, but gives you the feeling that you can be pretty specific in your AI prompts and get absolutely amazing results. Let's try another example. Example number 2. I'm reimagining the patient experience in healthcare waiting rooms. To stimulate creative connections, describe how these unrelated fields create positive waiting transition experiences. 1. Theme park queue line. 2. Airport VIP lounges. 3. Mindfulness retreat check-in processes. 4. Fine dining restaurants, pacing and atmosphere. For each, identify what specific elements create psychological comfort, reduce perceived wait time, or transform waiting into a valuable experience. Now, I'm hoping that these 2 example prompts really get you thinking about what you can really structure into your prompt to get input that you can use to make those connections. So, let's move on to step number 4, delegate convergence. Once you've generated truly original directions through your divergent thinking, AI becomes extraordinarily valuable for convergent activities, developing, refining, and optimizing your creative insights. This is where many people go wrong. They either overuse it, surrendering their creative process entirely, or underuse it, ignoring its analytical strengths. Here are the specific convergent tasks that are ideally suited for AI delegation. 1. Detail expansion. Once you have the core concept, ask AI to help flesh out the details, specifications, or implementation steps. 2. Pattern recognition. Have AI identify similarities between your idea and existing approaches to uncover potential refinements. 3. Gap analysis. Ask AI to identify your potential weaknesses or unanswered questions in your concept. 4. Variation generation. Once you have the original direction, AI can help you explore variation. So, come up with 3 different ways I can solve this using this basic structure, or 3 different approaches to delivering this. The key principle here is use AI for expansion and refinement of ideas that originated from your divergent thinking, not as the source of the original insight itself. So, for example, if you've conceptualized a novel approach to remote team collaboration, you might ask AI to identify potential implementation challenges, suggest how the concept may be adapted to different industries, compare your approach to existing solutions to identify different opportunities. This leverages AI's analytical power while preserving your role in the creative breakthrough. So let's walk through a couple of examples of convergence delegation used in the right way. So, example number 1, I've developed a concept for a community based renewable energy sharing platform where households can trade excess solar power directly with neighbors using blockchain verification. Help me refine this concept by one, identifying potential technical, regulatory, and user adoption challenges, two, suggesting the minimum viable features needed for an initial pilot, three, outlining how this approach differs from existing energy sharing models, four, recommending how the concept might need to adapt for different housing environments, such as urban apartments versus suburban homes versus rural communities. And then you let AI run with it. Let's do another example. Example two. I've created a new approach to professional development called skill swapping circles, where cross functional teams teach each other through structured 30-minute micro workshops. Please help me develop this concept by one, creating a detailed implementation framework with clear steps, two, identify potential resistance points and how to address them, three, suggest metrics to measure effectiveness, four, recommending variations for different organizations, being a startup or large enterprise, and five, outlining technology requirements to support the program. So, those are some really good prompts to use to leverage AI for what it does best, which is convergent thinking. Step five in the 5-step process, maintain creative authority. The final step is perhaps the most important. Consciously maintaining your creative authority throughout the process. AI tools are designed to be persuasive. They present information confidently and comprehensively, and a lot of people just run with it. This creates what psychologists call authority bias, our tendency to accept information from perceived authorities without sufficient scrutiny. To maintain your creative authority, one is question your AI outputs. Actively look for assumptions or limitations in what the AI generates, and don't be afraid to challenge the AI to say, I don't think this is quite correct. Please validate. Two, inject constraints. Deliberately introduce constraints that force original thinking. How would this work without internet connectivity? Or how would this change if it needed to be completely sustainable? And by injecting those constraints, you can push against the edges of what the AI has built into its assumption. Three, transform, don't transfer. Always transform AI outputs through your unique perspective rather than just directly transferring them into your work. Four, take incubation breaks. After receiving AI outputs, step away to allow that subconscious mind to process it. Research shows that creative insights often emerge during periods of mental rest after information intake. Remember, the goal isn't to reject AI's contributions, but to engage with them critically and creatively. Your unique human perspective, your lived experience, your intuition, your values should always remain the guiding force. So, what are some examples of creative authority prompts you can use with your AI? Example one, I've been exploring a concept for whatever your idea is. You've provided some interesting perspectives, but I want to challenge both of us to think differently. Please, one, identify 3 assumptions embedded in the approach we've been discussing. Two, suggest how the concept would need to change if it had to work without some key resource or technology. Three, describe how this idea might be received by someone from a completely different cultural background than my own. Four, identify ethical considerations I may not have considered. Example number 2. You've given me several suggestions for this topic. Now I'd like you to help me critically evaluate them by one, for each idea, identify the historical precedent or existing model it most closely resembles. Two, point out which suggestions fall into conventional thinking patterns. Three, identify any suggestions that might unintentionally reinforce problematic systems or assumptions. And four, challenge me with three questions that might completely reframe how I'm approaching this challenge. Now, those that interaction may feel like it's a little strange, but it's about you maintaining the ownership, that the critical leader, you own the creativity role in this process. And so, therefore, challenging and being challenged ensures that you have not overlooked anything that is critically important. So, I want to give you a real world application of this. We've talked now through the prompts, but let me give you some insight into how this actually works. So, and this is a framework that transformed the product development process at a consumer electronics company that I was advising. This team had been using AI tools extensively, but primarily as idea generators, essentially asking the AI to design new products directly. The results were predictably mediocre, variations on existing products with marginal improvements. We implemented this 5-step framework beginning with creative priming exercises before any AI engagement. Then, instead of asking the AI to generate product concepts, we asked it to explore unresolved tensions and how people interacted with technology in their homes. This exploration revealed something fascinating. People were increasingly concerned about technology fragmenting family attention rather than enhancing connection. This human centered insight came not from the AI directly, but from the team's analysis of the problem space with AI assistance. This led to a breakthrough concept, a family gaming system designed specifically for collaboration rather than competitive or individual play, with features that actively encouraged rich social interaction rather than isolated immersion. Now, once this novel direction was established through this human divergent thinking, the team then used AI extensively for convergent tasks, researching existing collaborative technologies, identifying potential technical challenges, and developing implementation variations. The result was a genuinely innovative product that addressed deeply human needs in ways that AI alone could never have conceptualized. The product has since become one of the more successful launches in this space, if you're into the gaming space, precisely because it originated from human insight about social connection rather than algorithmic prediction. So, we've now completed our 5-step framework for creative partnerships with AI. We prime your brain first, frame the challenge, not solutions, use AI for divergent acceleration, delegate convergence, and then maintain creative authority. Each step is designed to leverage both human and artificial intelligence in their respective dominance of strength. Your divergent thinking, AI's convergent capabilities. This approach represents a middle path between two extremes. On one side is completely AI dependency, surrendering our creative faculties to algorithms and experiencing the cognitive atrophy we've discussed in the earlier episodes. On the other side is AI rejection, ignoring powerful tools that can genuinely enhance your creative capabilities when used properly. The creative partnership I've outlined offers something better, a complementary relationship that amplifies your uniquely human creativity while leveraging AI's computational power. Remember the key principles we're exploring throughout this series. Your creative thinking abilities physically exist as neural networks in your brain. These networks strengthen or weaken based on how you use them. 3, you deliberate practice rebuilds these networks, even if they're weakened through a lot of AI dependency. If you've kind of swung hard to the AI side, not all is lost. You can actually rebuild them. 4, the most innovative thinking emerges from partnerships that preserve human divergent thinking while leveraging AI convergent capabilities. As we move deeper into the AI age, the ability to form these productive partnerships will increasingly distinguish those who merely execute from those who truly innovate, who truly bring their human ability to be creative to the problem space. And by understanding the complementary relationship between human and machine intelligence, you can develop creativity that no algorithm can ever replicate. Join me next time for the next video in this series. You're not going to want to miss it. But until then, I'm Phil McKinney, and remember, in the age of artificial intelligence, the most valuable thinking happens at the intersection of human insight and computational power. That intersection exists in only one place: your creatively engaged mind. If you found the value in today's video, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode in this series. There's also a whole series of videos on just general thinking skills, critical thinking skills. Now, your support means everything to this challenge. And if you're passionate about creativity and innovation, consider becoming a Patreon over on Patreon, or a subscriber, paid subscriber over on Substack. Links are in the show notes or in the description below. That'll help you connect. Your support helps make this content possible. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that helps put together the show, and every little bit helps us defer and cover those costs. So greatly appreciate that support. If you're interested, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, the show notes, the entire transcript, including all of the AI prompts, will be in a document you can download. You will find it in the description below or over in the show notes over on killerinnovations.com, or you can, we'll also post them over onto the Substack. So hopefully you found that interesting, found it beneficial, gave you some guardrails on what you should be doing and how to best leverage the AI tools. And look, the AI tools are becoming great. I use them. I teach other people how to use them. They are incredibly powerful. Don't ignore them, particularly for your career. You want to become skilled at bringing your creativity and AI tools in the right way. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.